1995 and one of the hottest lineups of Pro Street firepower are fueled up and ready to meet the quarter-mile challenge here at Gateway International Raceway. Will it be the Team Budweiser Camaro, an all-steel body Pro Street monster built on the raw brute force of its 2,000 horsepower engine, or will it be Mike Moran bringing a new contender into the fight with his heavy-hitting 95 Camaro? Or perhaps Keith Potter pulling out all the stops in his quest for a GM Nationals crown? Well, it's all on the line today as some of the fastest and baddest cars ever to enter world title competition here today at Gateway prepare to fire it up for the one, the only, the 1995 Greco Motorsports Nationals. The 1995 GM Nationals home video is brought to you by Flowmaster. Flowmaster, when you want the best in exhaust performance, it's Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. By NOS, your #1 choice when it comes to nitrous injection. For bolt-on performance in the blue bottle, it's NOS. By NGK Spark Plugs, manufacturers of a full line of spark plugs for high performance and OEM applications, including the new V-Plug for enhanced power and burn, NGK right from the start. By VP Racing Fuels, special fuels for champions for over 2 decades, VP Racing Fuels. By Jerry Bickle Race Cars of Troy, Missouri. In a race for quality, there is no finish line. Make Jerry Bickle your one-stop source. And by Hoosier Tire Midwest, your Midwest source for a full line of Hoosier race tires, Hoosier Tire Midwest. And by Muscle Cars Plus Video Magazine, the #1 high-performance video magazine in the world, giving you the latest in street, strip, and show car performance. It's Muscle Cars Plus Video Magazine. Hi everybody, I'm Al Tucci and welcome to the 1995 GM Nationals, a Len Greco Motorsports production. We have a field of 11 full-tilt Pro Street competitors ready to light them up at the line in their quest for the much-coveted GM Nationals world title, and for an extra dose of action, we've added the Super Street class to competition as well. These cars are bad to the bone, and we can promise you some unsurpassed runs down the killer quarter mile here at Gateway International today. For those of you not familiar with this track, we are just east of the river from St. Louis near Collinsville, Illinois. This track is also about to go through a complete change, with millions of dollars being invested into new construction. This NHRA facility will be ready to rock and roll with some of the biggest names in drag racing competition beginning in 1996. So stay tuned for more information on this new addition to Midwest drag racing. Well, the weather today for elimination rounds is perfect. Quite unlike past GM Nationals, which have been plunged by the threat of rain, these sunny and cool conditions should play out well as our world title competitors should be able to generate some real horsepower off the line and down the quarter mile. We'll be back in just a minute with some background on the qualifying and to kick off the eliminations here in the 1995 GM Nationals from Gateway International Raceway. But first, a word from Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company.
At Flowmaster, we're serious about exhaust, combining the latest research and manufacturing techniques and a state-of-the-art dynamometer. Flowmaster means improved combustion, efficiency, and power, reduced back pressure, increased fuel economy, and added performance. Today, more racing champions are choosing Flowmaster as their only source for the latest in exhaust technology. Whether you're on the street or at the strip, when you want the very best in bolt-on exhaust performance, there is no substitute. For the winning edge, it's Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company.
Welcome back to the 1995 GM Nationals, a Greco Motorsports production. You know, this event has been rocking and rolling here at Gateway for almost 4 years and has provided us with some incredible quarter-mile competition. Let's take a quick look back beginning in 1993. '93, Gateway International Raceway. Some of the fastest and wildest Pro Street competitors have come to pull out all the stops and full bore pedal through the medal challenge to see who would walk away with the check and the world title. For 1993, there were few equals in this volatile and growing world for Pro Street racing. These guys are simply the best in the business. Names like Bob Garatuga, Mr. Pro Street, Mike Elbert, Steve Speece, the red-hot team of Mike Moran and John Carter, Rick Lupkes, Jerry Civic, Monty Burney, Keith Potter, and the rest. With a mission based on horsepower, nitrous and blowers, and nerves of steel, these guys laid down the law, giving the crowd a smoke and fire show it would never forget. Well, coming out now, look at this burnout, fans. It's Rich Lupke in the 747 cubic inch Pro Stock Monster. As Gabriel leaves the light, Wagner following behind, but look at him, Pontiac building excitement to the 8th mile mark. Gabriel trying to hang on, but Wagner gets down there first. Check it out, Pontiac fans. 811, 172.32 miles per hour. Monty Bernie, the big block, Lenko-Bang nitrous oxide assisted 55 Chevrolet. All strapped together on a stock 55 Chevrolet frame. Here he comes out of the burnout. Better known for Burn 'em Up Bernie. Look at this awesome burnout as Bernie lays down the Goodyears down the quarter mile. Down on the top end, look at Alberts on the charge. A little bit of smoke coming out of the back of Alberts' machines. Kaboom! There goes the engine. Here they go, leaving the light. The wheels up on Focus' machine. Potter gets loose though, and he stays out of the groove. Look at Potter. What an unbelievable driving job. Focus and tries to go around him. Not gonna happen. Check this burnout out by Rich Lupke. The 56 Chevrolet almost down to the end of the quarter mile, smoking the tires, engulfing the place in Goodyear smoke. Watch this, Potter leaves, and Potter's out, and the parachute deploys on the back of Potter's machine. He's not letting off, though. Look at Potter stay into it, race fans. Moran takes him, though, with a 9 flat run, 158 mile per hour pass. In the end, though, the rain chose to keep the final round of eliminations locked away for another year, as the downpour canceled the closing minutes of the 93 event with a crash of lightning. (1994) and the best of the best in Pro Street return to Gateway to pick up where they left off. Round after round of ground-pounding action as the continuing evolution of speed and time was evident, with more drivers making their bid to break into the elusive 7-second club. With rain closing in, Mike Moran driving the John Carter Nova put the hammer down, lighting the spark and closing the door on his competition. Moran and Carter pull out an incredible win to take the GM Nationals World Title crown for 94. And that brings us where we are today. 11 full-bore competitors locked and loaded with their sights set on the winner's circle. We are just about ready to light the wick on eliminations. But first, let's take a quick look at the cars and drivers that survived qualifying here today at the 95 GM Nationals. At the #1 spot in Pro Street World Title competition, it'll be none other than Bob Garatuga driving his wild and wicked '89 Ford Mustang, the only Ford to bang heads here at the 95 GM Nationals. Garatuga is a bona fide NMCA 7-second top 10 competitor and may be holding the hand to beat here today. Next up at #2, it's Chris Soljak driving his 1964 Chevy 2 Nova. This car is sporting a new look for 1995 and has been retrofitted with a monster 632 cubic inch Scott Shafarov engine with a set of 5-inch Flowmasters on the back end. Soljak is prepared to do what it takes to take home the check. Ready to lay it on the line at #3 is none other than the Chicago hitman himself, Little Al Capone, Mr. Mike Alberts, piloting his bad to the bone 67 Camaro wheel stander. Alberts is a veteran drag racer here in the Midwest, having campaigned this car on the strip for over 10 years. If there's a Tommy gun to be fired today, it's in Alberts' hands. At #4, after a complete winter shakedown and overhaul of the chassis, suspension, and power plant, the Team Budweiser Camaro with driver Bill Hill comes to Gateway as perhaps one of the most lethal combinations of guts, glory, and firepower here at the track today. This newly renovated car is a Pro Street monster, very capable of turning in the mid-7-second range. Bearing the tack just 1 week ago here at Gateway International, Bill Hill laid down a 749 at 188 miles per hour. I'll tell you, Hill is the guy to watch here today. Check out that wild Budweiser paint job. Here's a guy who needs no introduction. At #5, it's Keith Potter in his explosive blown and alcohol-injected 1965 GTO. Potter is a driven competitor, and as in past events, will do whatever it takes to try to bring home the bacon. Jerry Civic, another guy who swears by Chevy, drops in at number 6 with his beautiful 1969 Camaro. At number 7, it's Dearborn Heights base Mike Moran, leaving the cockpit of the John Carter Nova to pilot his own cool, clean, and deadly 95 Camaro. This car is so new it hasn't even seen competition yet. But based on the power plant and the Moran's driving talents, anything is possible here today, especially as we see no spray out of the NOS bottle. It'll be all horsepower. Louisville, Kentucky, based in veteran competitor John Carter, checks in at number 8. Shows up with his famous 1966 Nova and straps himself into the cockpit for another shot at the world title. This is the car that took the event last year with Mike Moran at the wheel. This time it'll be Carter driving, so let's see what John can put together in his bid to clean up for a second year in a row. It's time to administer CPR as Joe Moore brings out his cardiac arrest Chevrolet Nova. This is yet another car capable of doing it all in the quarter mile and without question has the guts to crank out impressive 7-second times. And in the number 10 spot, it's Cullen Schofel, a man who just sat in the stands 1 year ago watching Pro Street here at Gateway International, now prepares to battle his own Chevrolet Nova in the 95 GM Nationals. And Todd Hansen closes the field out with his bad-to-the-bone bodacious Camaro at the number 11 spot. Wheels up. Hang on. Todd Hansen's ready to rip them up here today. Well, there you have it. The full lineup of the qualified competitors for world title competition. What about Super Street? Well, here they are. In the number 1 spot, it'll be Dennis Binder. Next up, it's Mark Wells in his beautiful Chevrolet Camaro. At 4, it's Mike Christensen. In the number 5 slot, it's Tom Reinhold. At 6, it'll be none other than Jeff Beal. At 7, it sees Ron Casier. At 8, we find Jeff White. Checking in at 9, it's Fire Against Steel. Steve Steele, that is. Rick Lane drops in the rockin' number 10 spot. And finally, eat your Wheaties, it's Greg Lose at 11. Well, there you have it with Super Street walking in, checking its code at the door, and ready to rock and roll. Well, we're just about ready to fire up round number 1 of eliminations here at Gateway International, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. But first, check out these fine performance products from our sponsors on the Muscle Cars Plus Performance Counter.
At Flowmaster, they're serious about exhaust. Flowmaster means improved combustion, efficiency, and power, reduced back pressure, increased fuel economy, and added performance. Today, more racing champions are choosing Flowmaster as their only source for the latest in exhaust technology. Winning names like Annette Summer, Bruce Kimmon, Tony Christian, and many more. Whether you're on the street or at the strip, when you want the best in bolt-on exhaust performance, there is no substitute. For the winning edge, it's Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. Okay, we're down here in the pit area with Joe Moore, owner of the 1962 Chevy 2 Cardiac Arrest. Joe, you guys had some problems there. You're trying to go through it and see what happened.
Yeah, we just got the motor putting out about 1,200 horsepower and done a good burnout, backed up and set the track about 4,500 and tried to launch her, and she split the ring gear and pinion out. So the track's hooking pretty good right now on the 60-foot time. So we're looking to try to get a ring gear and pinion back in it and try to qualify again later on this afternoon.
Well, you guys are always banging heads here in Pro Street competition. You've been turning some good times lately, and we've got a pretty good field out here today. What have you been turning lately in terms of times?
8:15, 170. Was looking for the sevens today, and it looked like it might be going to pass like that until it broke.
Okay, we're down here in the pit area with Keith Potter, owner and driver of this 1965 GTO. Keith, about the only problem you're having out there on the track is traction, right?
Oh, yes. We tried to loosen up the clutch, and it's still not enough. I guess we can try to loosen it up a little bit more, but we hate to burn the clutch trying to make it down the track. Hopefully we'll get a little more heat or a little more VHT on the track or something.
Well, this track's always been a little tough because it's a little bit rough and it gets a little bit bouncy. I think it shifted twice, and each time it did, it seemed like the front end came off the ground, so I had to backpedal it twice. But in doing that, I feel like it was a fairly decent time.
That's a new program for you, too. I mean, of course, you're behind the wheel this year. How does that feel for you?
Well, I have driven for 15 years, and I quit driving in '76, so this is my first time in the car. Actually, this is the first time I've really got a good run off of it this year, you know, because I've been working all summer, but it's quite a thrill, and I enjoy it.
Mike, you had an unfortunate fire down there on the starting line a little bit ago, knocked you guys out of competition. What happened?
Well, we had a nitrous solenoid stick wide open and caused it to backfire. And as you can see by the motor here, we had a small fire and kind of damaged the carburetor and the top half of the motor and destroyed the hood. So we were just going to pack it up and go home, but we kind of thrashed all week to get this car back together. Mike Gabriel of Chicago Heights just put this motor together for us, and he was unable to make it here this weekend. He just had a baby boy, and we kind of wanted to make him proud, so we decided to just thrash as hard as we could, get this car put back together. Spent about an hour putting it back together, and had a fortunate pass last time. We run 872, and so far we're qualified, so we're going to see what we could do again tomorrow.
So you guys are ready to go tomorrow?
Yes, doesn't look the prettiest, but we're ready to go.
Mike Moran, a great shakedown pass out there, but you're still having a few problems, I guess, with the suspension?
Yeah, that's correct. We just got some problems with the shocks. We're trying to sort that out, and once we get that straightened out, it should go pretty good for us.
What are you guys going to be doing through the course of the winter and then looking to 1996 for your racing program?
Yeah, well, we'll just be working on this car. This is only the first time out for this thing, so I'm sure we'll be dialing this in for at least another 6 months. You know, in mid-year next year, we should have it straightened out.
Mr. Mike Alberts, how many years in racing now?
About 17.
This was kind of a slow start for you, though, this year.
Yeah, I got off to a slow start. I started running my brother's business for him, and I didn't get out till like mid-August. But we've been kind of struggling, but we've been doing okay too.
What about qualifying out here at the GM Nats?
Well, it's leaving. It's got the best 60-foot it's ever had. It went at 121, and last week it went 825 with a 126 60-footer. It's set to go some 18s or 80s. I get about 250, 300 foot out, and I just lose it. It just goes up in smoke twice in a row.
What about traction at the line? Is that okay for you?
The line's leaving very well. 60-foot times are beautiful, but with about 300 foot out there, it's bad. So right now I'm putting some 100 horsepower less jets in there. I'm going to detune it, and maybe tomorrow it'll get down the track. It may run a tenth slower, but that's okay. It'll get down the track.
So you're going to be out there qualifying, pushing her again tomorrow then?
Oh, definitely.
So I dropped this one, but
We'll be back with more explosive action from the 1995 edition of the Greco Motorsports Nationals, but first a word from our sponsors.
Who do you call when you want premium performance in a blue bottle? NOS, that's who. Combining years of research and engineering to perfect state-of-the-art nitrous injection, NOS has evolved into the world's largest manufacturer and distributor of nitrous system technology. Whether you need 25, 250, or 500 horsepower, NOS has a system for your car. From the original Power Shot to the Cheater system, the world's most popular nitrous kit, to the Full Race Pro Shot fogger, NOS makes more horsepower on more cars than all other nitrous companies combined. What about service and support? That's second to none at NOS. NOS also stocks a full inventory of various components including plates, plumbing, solenoids, bottles, fuel pumps, regulators, and much more. From Pro Street to Pro Mod, look at who's racing and winning with NOS. It's no wonder that NOS is your only choice when it comes to nitrous injection. For more information on purchasing or installing an NOS system, see your local NOS dealer or call 714-821-0592. For premium bolt-on performance in the blue bottle, it's NOS.
Well, here we go with our first round of Pro Street action here from Gateway International Raceway. And check it out, race fans. The 2,000 horsepower Keith Black, Alan Johnson Oldsmobile power planted 70 Chevrolet Camaro. The Harry Matthews team, Bill Hill, the rookie driver of the year. Well, that's exactly what I'd have to call him this year. What a job he has done. From going basically from a 15-second car, taking a bit of funny car school, and now strapping himself into this Chevrolet Camaro, basically looking for the 7-second zone. Look at the King of Beers, the Budweiser car. A brand new facelift for this car from last year, and these guys mean business. After all the controversy down in the pit area, they've found themselves in the bottom of the spot on qualifying, and who has to face them? No other than this man, John Carter out of Louisville, Kentucky. The beautiful 1966 Chevrolet Nova. Big nitrous oxide cubic inch power plant as Carter backs up into the rubber. Remember, last year, 1994, this car found its way to the finals and crowned himself the king of the GM Nats. Now, can John Carter do it? Now, Mike Moran not driving the car, piloting his own car this year. We'll see if Carter can handle the horsepower of his own Chevrolet Deuce. Now both cars are backed up into the hot rubber they laid down, and let's get ready to rumble here in round number 1 of eliminations. The Budweiser 70 Chevrolet Camaro versus the Deuce of John Carter. Both cars now clearing out the motors. The alcohol-burning Chevrolet Camaro. Bringing it up, you'll listen to the RPMs as he brings it up high. This is going to be basically the first run on the car all weekend. We have rumors saying that the car went into the 749 range just 1 week ago here at Gateway. Let's find out if they have some of that power left in this machine. Now Carter rolls into the beam. Watch the top light. This is going to be a wild Chevy side-by-side bow-tie battle. Down the quarter mile here at Gateway. It looks like Hill, the first minute, the RPM's out, and look at the green light start for both machines. Hill side by side, but walks with the horsepower. The 2,000 horsepower Chevrolet Camaro Hill collects the win with a 790 Ford, 160.65 miles per hour. I think John Carter noticed the hard 8th mile charge, prepared the car and shut it down just to coast to the finish line in some 13-second fashion. But what a run by the Hill team, coming out, laying some strong numbers down. You know, the guys back here in the pit area have to be wondering who will be next on Hill's list. Well, now coming up, one of the most prolific race cars here this weekend. Joe Moore's cardiac arrest Chevrolet Nova. You haven't had enough alcohol after the Budweiser car. Check out this alcohol-burning Chevrolet. Well, he'll prepare to battle Jerry Civic in the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Modified Super Stocker. Civic, with a horrendous fire under the hood just moments ago in qualifying, finds the parts to get him back on the track to qualify. Well, now watch as Civic rolls into the beams. Jerry Civic, one heavy-duty drag racer here out of the Chicagoland area, will prepare to battle that alcohol-burning Deuce, Joe Moore and the cardiac arrest team. Moore, last year having an engine explode down on the top end here at the 94 GM Nats, finds himself with a fresh power plant. Let's see if Moore can hang on to the professional driving ability of Jerry Civic. Civic finds himself into the top bulb, ready to go pre-stage. Joe Moore now clears the motor one time, rolls all the way in. Lights are down, wheels in the air for Civic. Side by side, but the horsepower takes advantage. Joe Moore, the cardiac arrest machine, putting Civic on the trailer. 832, 163.54 miles per hour, and Civic with a hard-charging 878 at 154 miles per hour. What a job it's been. And now coming into the water box area, no other than the little Al Capone himself, Mike Elbers out of Burbank, Illinois. A man who has been haunted at the GM Nats for some years now, brings his power to life here in that 67 Chevrolet Camaro. and it's going to be to the right of him, no other than Keith Potter with the blown 500 cubic inch blown Chevrolet power plant. The 65 GTO. Potter and Weiss team now backing up as Potter's brother gets him into the hot groove he laid down on the burnout. Mike Alberts has to be looking to his right, wondering, can he put Potter away? It doesn't matter if Potter gets in his way. Mike Alberts better look out. Potter does not lift his foot. This guy has done so many amazing driving techniques here at the GM Nationals throughout the years. Who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen with either driver as Mike Alberts hopefully will not collect problems on that burnout, though. That secondary dry hop gets the car some 50 feet in through the dry hop on a wheel stand. Alberts looking fine at this point. Let's hope with the fingers crossed that the Burbank, Illinois-based Camaro can make a full pass for the fans here this afternoon. Well, Alberts being backed up by the plumber himself into the hot rubber will get ready, purge the nitrous oxide, and give it all he's got to put that alcohol-blowing big-bodied goat away. We'll see if he can do it. Now the RPMs come up. Mike Alberts rolls in for the kill over in the close side, tower side of the lane. Watch the tree race, fans. This ought to be a wild one. The wild driving skills of Potter versus the wheel-standing driving skills of Mike Alberts. Mike Alberts into the deep lanes. He's ready to go. Potter brings the RPMs up, rolls the GTO in. The lights are down. Green lights start to wheel stand by Alberts. But look at him walk the walk and talk the talk. Keith Potter ripping it up right now in the all-pro side. Top end 820, 167 miles per hour. Keith Potter goes to round number 2. Mike Alberts goes back to wax his car with a 1026 at 103. Well, next up, it'll be Chris Soljak out of St. Louis, Missouri, doing his burnout in his 64 Chevrolet Deuce. 632 cubic inches of Scott Shafferoff engine strapped under the hood of that Chevy Nova. Talk about Novas, the newcomer coming up in the far lane. It'll be Colin Schofel in his 67 Chevrolet Nova. Schofel says, I want to do battle with the big boys. Well, that's what he'll have to do. Picking Soljak in the first round. This will be a tough one. Soljak's crew turning on the nitrous oxide at this point, ready to let it loose. I tell you, Soljak was down in the pit area earlier telling us he'd like to be one of the fastest automatic street cars in the country. We'll find out if he can do it here today. Soljak now rolling into the hot rubber, staging the car practically perfect on the lane. Look at Schofel. Now as he makes his move into the beams, he has to be nervous at this point. Both cars rolling in identically. Lights are down, wheels in the air, but problems. Haunting Schofel. Look at the smoke over the hood. Schofel at this point doesn't even know where he's at. And Soljak goes on to victory. 823, 160 miles per hour. And Schofel at a 1202. The only thing he can do is shut the Bic off. He definitely had a fire lit under the hood. Well, I'll tell you, hang on to the dead wood in the bleachers now, fans, because here comes the pilot. The winner of last year's event is brand new tire-smoking Chevrolet Camaro. Mike Moran out of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, bringing one of the finest-looking Chevy Camaros ever in the Pro Street category to life here at Gateway International. Some 615 cubic inches of Chevy strapped under the hood of that Chevy Camaro as Moran backs up. Like we've said so many years, this man is definitely a pilot, an F-16 fighter. And watch out, let's see if he can make this car run down the track here at Gateway. It's Virgin Pass here. This ought to be an awesome one. He owes it all to a lot of guys like Jack Pemberton, John Meany and Digital Fuel Injection, and the wizard who made the power, Sonny Leonard out of Lynchburg, Virginia. Let's see if all that power Sonny is prepared can battle Todd Hansen's Chevrolet Camaro. The wheel standing bracket racer that does fine here at Gateway International now looks to his left and sees Mike Moran, last year's champion, and he'll have to battle him all down the quarter mile here at Gateway. This will be a wild Chevrolet Camaro side-by-side battle here in the Gateway World Title Series. Watch as Mike Moran does his fine thing, getting into the lights last, and Todd Hansen rolls that bracket racing Chevrolet wheel stander right into the beams. He's into the pre-staging beam. Now the RPMs will come to life in that 95 Chevrolet Camaro of Mike Moran. Moran brings the RPMs up. Hansen's all the way into the beams as they get ready to go. The Lenko getting ready to engage in that new Chevrolet Camaro. This will be a wild one. Moran takes his time. He's in the lights. They give it a quick lane. The wheels in the air for Hansen. But look at the pro stock, pro street style driving of Mike Moran. Down on the top end, a victory. 811 at 159 miles per hour. Hansen does his fine with a 1025, 131, but gets his doors completely blown off on the top end. Well, it's been amazing. Mike Moran has proven that his Chevrolet Camaro is here for the battle. And look who comes out of the burnout box area now. Bob Garatuga out of Tinley Park, Illinois. The 630-plus cubic inch Ford Pony car. The burnout has been completed, the #1 qualifier for today's event. But Bob has to be wondering, after watching Moran, after watching the Budweiser team, the numbers they're laying down, can Garatuga get himself lane choice with this first round of eliminations? Now Garatuga rolls back. The crew, his doc, puts him into the beams. This will be a wild one. Ford fans, hang on. Don't let anything get by you, because this pony car really knows how to kick. Watch as Garatuga rolls in ever so gently. Such a short wheelbase, such a lot of power, such a tremendous amount of nitrous oxide ready to go to work as Garatuga looks at the tree and collects his thoughts for this first round of eliminations. He knows if everything goes well, he's coming back for round number 2. The solo pass, the crew's watching, and Garatuga lets the clutch out and lets it fly. I'll tell you, there's more power in this car than he's performing right now. Down on the top end, Garatuga with a shootout, 859 crossing the lanes at 161.81 miles per hour. Garatuga shows the Ford fans he came here to do battle today, but those Chevrolets are really working one up in the pits now. Well, now coming up, Mike Christensen in the first round of Super Street competition. Christensen in his 1971 Chevy Chevelle, ready to go, qualified in the #4 spot here this afternoon in Super Street. Well, Super Street, for the competitors who don't know, is one of the most up-and-coming racing organizations ever, as they get ready to go on the 10.5-inch tires with the mufflers, and these guys know how to put nitrous oxide to work. Christensen now will take on Dennis Bendler in his 69 heavy-bodied Chevy Chevelle. 36+ 100 pounds of Chevy bow tie, ready to go to work. Watch the two Chevy Chevelles as they roll into the beams. Christensen versus Bendler. Well, it should be reversed, because the guy that really bends is Christensen's Chevelle as he leaves the line. Now as they get into the beams, watch the tree come down. Both cars, the nitrous has been purged. Now the winking blinking machine goes to work. The lights go green and Bendler tries to get the whole shot, but Mikey Christensen takes it away. Down on the top end, Christensen walks in his big body Chevelle in the Pepsi side, taking the victory. 10:55, 127.19 miles per hour. Bendler follows with a 10:94, so close at 119. Next set of cars coming into the water box area, the beautiful 94 Chevrolet Camaro. During qualifying, this car amazed the crowd. Look at him jump to the line on a secondary burnout. He'll take on Rick Lane's awesome 1967 10-inch tired 67 big-bodied Chevelle. Big block Chevrolet powered with nitrous oxide. Watch as Rick Lane rolls into the beams. He's got his work cut out for him, though. If you keep your eyes on the 94 machine, you will be amazed. The lights are coming down. Green lights out. Wheels up for both cars. Rick Lane side by side now, making a move at the 8th mile charge. Look at that red Chevrolet Camaro, though. Don't let it fool you. Watch the tree down on the top end. Lang with the win, 10:49, a 1-second difference. The victory goes to Lang, but that Camaro amazes at 11:49, 117. Well, now coming up, the Yenko Chevrolet Nova rolls into the burnout box. Not quite the burnout he'd want to get the tires nice and hot. That'll be Ron Kaiser with the wheelie bars on the back of his Super Street Chevrolet Nova. He'll take on the white Chevrolet Camaro, the 70s model Chevy Camaro, rolling up to the tree. They're both engaged and ready to go. The lights come down, green lights start, and it looks like the Yenko has some problems, but collects his thoughts and gets out front early. The white Chevrolet Camaro just dog-legging left at this point. Down on the top end, Ron Kaiser in his Nova. Pepsi side with the win. 1282 and 107.30 miles per hour. Chevrolet Camaro backtracks at a 17:45, 79 mile per hour charge. Now coming up, the #1 qualifier. On a solo pass, it'll be Mark Wells. Wells goes down, just saving parts for the latter rounds here at Super Street. Wells out of Louisiana, better known as the Crabtail. And I'll tell you, this guy does more than just fish. Down at the top end, saving all the horsepower he can for the next round. Wells goes down and shuts it off with a 16:45 at 70 miles per hour. Look out, though. That car is packing some punch. We'll be back with more explosive action from the 1995 edition of the Greco Motorsports Nationals, but first a word from our sponsors.
Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been building and selling top-quality racing components for over 16 years. Key design technology utilizing hands-on experience at the racetrack brings the very best and most current construction to you. From chassis kits to drive shaft components, fuel cells, rear ends, rear suspensions, wheelie bars, wing kits, and much more, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has it all. And it doesn't stop there, as Jerry Bickle offers full technical assistance from our knowledgeable staff during installation or construction, as well as track tuning techniques after completion. Yes, in the race for quality, there is no finish line at Jerry Bickle Race Cars. Call Jerry Bickle at area code 314-528-8789. That's area code 314-528-8789. John Carter, you got bumped out, unfortunately, in the first round of competition up against the Team Bud Camaro. Any thoughts?
Well, my thought is that we need to check the transmission dipstick because it came out, got transmission fluid underneath the rear tires, and it went over towards the center line, so I had to let out of it.
We know that
It made any difference.
we know she's got a lot more to her. You said she's running maybe a little bit soft for you right now?
It seems like it's kind of lazy. Yeah, we just took it out for another test run, running 805, 170, but that's pretty far off for what it usually runs. It runs about 780, about 178, so there's a weak link in there somewhere.
Mike Moran, an 809 is putting you into the next round of competition against Joe Moore with the cardiac arrest. Any new plans off of the last round?
No, we haven't done anything on the tune-up. We're running on all horsepower. We're just basically trying to get the car down the track. If we can get it down the track, we'll get it to go faster. Every time we go down, we go faster.
Well, you've got the wick lid on this thing, pure motor, and you're turning these times. I mean, this is impressive, too, because this is the first time this car has seen the field.
Yeah, very first time it's ever been driven or raced at all. And we got more left in it, but I don't see why I should put any more timing in the motor right now when we can't get down all the way down the track right now with the way it is. So
Time to get serious?
yeah, I'm just going to leave it the way it was the last round. If I can make 2 passes back-to-back all the way down, then I'll turn the wick up a little.
Mike Albert, Saturday, you're just kicking out the power, doing a lot of stuff out there in the track, making it happen. What happened?
I think I overpowered the track a little bit Saturday. I had the bottom heim where it goes into the bracket cracked, and the guys from Lincoln Welders came out. I got to thank them. They come out, they welded it up for me. I got it back together, but it must have twisted something in the rear end because I came back out this morning. I detuned the car. I went down the track. I did the same thing. I got to about the 200-foot mark, and it just lit the tires up again, so I just backpedaled and let Keith take it over.
Just a couple unfortunate problems then.
Yeah, yesterday I had set it up pretty good. It was running some low 120, high teens, 60-footers. It was ready to go some low teens, maybe a high O. I just couldn't get it down the track. This track has haunted me now 3 years in a row.
Okay, we're down here in the pits with Rich Matthews of Team Budweiser Camaro. We've just completed first round of eliminations. Rich, you guys turned a 794 out there, a whole night of thrashing, oil pressure problems. You secured an oil pump. Miracles.
Well, miracles at the last moment. It seems like about 5 minutes before the first round, we got it fired, had good oil pressure, 55 pounds. It worked out. Hopefully the luck continues.
Where are you guys going to go in the next round?
Well, the next round we're racing against Chris Sojek and we think the car ought to do good. We took a little bit of clutch out of it. We hope that that'll help cure a little bit of the tire shake problem. The car ought to run, if he wants to hang in it, ought to run a 760.
For those people that don't know, you just recently turned what, a 749, I believe?
749, 188 mile an hour. And the car capable of easily duplicating that today, if not running faster, if the track will hold it.
And again, a back half Pro Street car.
A back half car that went across the scales today at 33.18, I think it was, with Bill in the seat. And that's after a run, after about 6 gallons of fuel out of the car, too. So it's legit.
Now we're going to be back down here to talk to you, hopefully, in the next round. Takes a lot of money to put one of these cars out on the track. Who are you going to thank?
Well, we want to thank, of course, Anheuser-Busch is the big supporter of the team. They're out here today supporting us, and we really thank them a lot for that. NGK Spark Plugs, they've been a big benefit for the team with changing them every run, and they've been working good. As you can attest to the power of the car out there. Hoosier Tires, the car is sticking. We just have to work the clutch to get it to work with the track, but I think we did one of the better launches of the day on Hoosier Tires. And as far as a lot of the other sponsors, Crest Industries with the supplies, pretty much Auto Extras with all the decals, Pennzoil. I mean, with the oil pressure, it wasn't their oil that was causing the problem, it was just mechanical problems. The oil's lived up to it, the motor's still running. So that's really helped a lot. And BSF, of course, the car is appearing excellent. I mean, it's really one of the best appearing cars here today. So we really want to thank a lot of the people.
Okay, we're here with Keith Potter. Keith, you turned an 820 out there on the track. Good enough for what position? Where are you going in?
Oh, I really don't know. I know we're running Moran this pass. He was a little bit faster than we were this one, so he'll get lane choice. I don't think it really matters too much. They're both real loose. We're taking a little bit of clutch out of it, a little bit more clutch out of it, and hoping just to make it straight down the track.
You happy with the tack at the beginning?
No, I'm really not happy with the whole run, but we accepted it. You know, we made the round anyway, so.
Well, the car was running pretty strong from our end.
Yeah. It's making power. We're taking power out of it, taking clutch out of it, just trying to make it down the track.
Okay, we'll catch you in the next round. Good luck.
Thanks.
Bye. Hoosier Tire Midwest is your one-stop source for the full line of Hoosier race tire products. As one of only 7 distributors in the U.S., Hoosier Tire Midwest offers you the complete line of Hoosier competition tires for racing. From drag slicks that give you maximum hookup and life at the line to the Hoosier Quick Times DOT-approved tire, offering racers a competition tire with tread that has full DOT approval. In fact, the tremendous success of the QuickTime DOT tires has been so favorable that it is now available in over 13 sizes. From NASCAR to the NHRA and everything else in between, there's only one. Yes, Hoosier Tire Midwest is your one-stop, first call for all your race tire needs. Hoosier Tire Midwest with 2 locations to serve you at 3246 North Route 54, Springfield, Illinois, and at 9241 Crawfordsville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana. Hoosier, tires designed for champions.
Well, world title fans, we're ready for round number 2 of the world title competition coming at you. Check it out, 2,000 horsepower of Clydesdale coming up out of the burnout box area. No other than Bill Hill in the Matthews-sponsored, Budweiser-sponsored King of Beers 70 Chevrolet Camaro. These guys are really tough, and we've yet to see that record-breaking 740 run they've been bragging about all weekend. Let's see as they get ready to take on the little St. Louis Arch. It'll be no other than Chris Soljak out of St. Louis, Missouri, with the brand new Bullet strapped in between the frame rails of that Chevy Deuce. Now it's time to put the Turbo 400 to work, see if he can bang against that Lenko Camaro. Watch Soljak though, he is definitely a high deuce competitor. Now Hill backs up as Don Eidinger and Rich Matthews gets him into the beams. Hill, what a story it's been for this guy. I'd have to give him Rookie of the Year here at the Gateway International GM Nationals. Watch Hill as he's getting ready to go. Rich Matthews takes one last look over the car. Don Eidinger gets the car into the beams. Bill Hill strapped into some 2,000 plus horsepower. The Littlefield blower just making the noise that it does best as it gets down the track here in fashion. Watch out though. Soljak, if he's got any tricks up his sleeve, he better pull them out now. Soljak gets the Deuce all wound up and ready. This will be a wild one, Chevy fans. Hang on, bow tie bangers. We're getting ready for round number 2 of eliminations. Soljak now gets into the top bulb. Bill Hill revs the motor up just a bit. Watch the blown Chevrolet Camaro do its work. Let's see if he can handle this little Deuce. Now they're both into the pre-staging beam. Soljak moves in, Hill's in, lights are down, and a tremendous hole shot advantage going to the rookie Bill Hill in Pro Street style down on the top end. Oh my God, Hill goes too fast. 741. He breaks out on the NHRA specs for the chassis on the car to 750. Hill blows the record away though. 741 for the Budweiser car. The only problem here is Soljak will advance on a disqualification. Holy cow, for all you do, that quarter-mile explosion was just for you. A 741 knocks the team Budweiser right out of the box as far as today's competition goes, with Bill Hill being disqualified for running under the NHRA license specs of 750 for that chassis. But what a run, what a charge, what an absolute blast down the quarter mile. The Team Bud Camaro, another car setting the standard for next year's battle. Take one more look at the surge at the end. This car, it seems, was quite capable of turning a lower time, but Bill Hill seemed to back off a little, already knowing that he was out of here with his record run at Gateway, but the action just doesn't stop here. Now lurking out of the pit area, it's no other than Mike Moran in the beautiful 95 Chevrolet Camaro. He prepared for the 95 season. Let's see if he can put down some 7-second numbers yet to be seen. Moran with a tremendous smoky burnout off the starting pad. One beautiful machine. Listen to the mufflers on that car. That car showing its power off in style here. But look at the heavy-duty 92 champion he'll have to compete with. No other than Keith Potter coming up in this round of action. The blown big power plant of Potter backing up into the hot rubber. This is promising to be one wild pro street side-by-side battle. Now Moran getting the door open. The guys from Jerry Haas checking the car out, making sure everything is working this weekend. Check this out though. Potter knows he's been tuning hard in the pit area and needs a round here to win to go to the next round. He needs the points. He's definitely in the chase for the championship this year, but the Hill team really laid one out as Budweiser just showed the crowd what a wild run it was all about. 7:41. Let's see if Moran can dip into the 7-second zone. We know Potter's been so close with some 8-0 passes. At this point, that car's still looking for a 7-second run. Right now, ready to move in. Keith Potter with the RPMs lurking that big blown Chevrolet into the beams. Now the Pontiac revs the motor one time, and check this out. Mike Moran bumps into the beam, fully staged, ready to go. He's in deep though. Potter doesn't care. Lights are green. Potter turns off the line. But look at the horsepower going awry on both machines, and Moran gets to the finish line first. 809, 172.56 miles per hour, and Keith Potter puts the Rams down on that goat. 822 and 171. One of the Cinderella stories here in this round is Joe Moore in the cardiac arrest Chevrolet Nova. The alcohol-blowing Chevrolet power plant now rolls into the water box area. Moore gets the tires wet and lets them fly on the burnout. A beautiful smoky burnout for the cardiac arrest. Moore gets the Zumi pipes rolling across the starting line, and his competitor will be the #1 car in qualifying. No other than Bob Garatuga out of Tinley Park, Illinois. For the Ford fans, it has to be berserk at this point. But the Chevy fans here at Gateway are on their feet. This will be a wild one. Chevy versus Ford. Another factory matchup that no one will forget from the world title here at Gateway. Now the Ford of Garatuga getting a one last time look over. The doc, the PC doc gets in himself, turns the nitrous oxide on, and that means business as this Ford gets ready to go to work. A man who's been dominating some of the NMCA races around the country. Now they'll roll in. Joe Moore doesn't mind. Bob Garatuga in his mind is just another race down the track here at Gateway. Garatuga comes in, looks for the top bulb on the tree. He looks to be the first man to get in. Moore brings the RPM up on the Chevrolet Deuce. This is promising to be one of the wildest pro street runs ever. Chevy versus Ford, Nova versus Mustang. Hang on, here they go. Lights are down and Moore takes advantage on the line. Garatuga having problems at this point, looking for everything. But the Chevrolet and Joe Moore give Garatuga cardiac arrest. 853 and 152 miles per hour. Chevrolet goes another round here. 879 for Garatuga, 153, and it's back to the corral for that Mustang. Well, now coming up, John Carter on a solo pass, just trying to work the nails out of this machine. After his first round loss to the Budweiser team, he thought he was sitting in the beer garden, but now it's time to go to work again. As John Carter and the Louisville-based Chevrolet Nova and Carter Restoration car come to life. Fans, this one's for you as he gets ready to see if he can get it back into the 7-second zone. Major problems for Carter in the first round. Bill Hill put the works on him with the Bud car. Now he's out here just fine-tuning the machine for another race somewhere down the road. John Carter backing up, piloting his own Chevrolet Nova. The history behind this car is amazing. From the stories of Max Carter, his son, when he used to campaign the car in the NMCA and won the first ever Pro Street Championship in this machine, through Mike Moran being a pilot in the car, and now the owner himself, John Carter, getting his last-minute adjustments from the crew chief to let it fly. The nitrous oxide being purged. I'll tell you, Chevy fans, this one's for you. Better yet, Pro Street fans, hang on. If we get a 7-second pass out of Carter, it'll be amazing. So Carter now rolls up to the starting line and lets it fly here in his nitrous oxide assisted Chevrolet. Well, the car sounding good to this point. The parachute packed, the big MTs on the back ready to go down the track. Let's see if Carter can lay down one of those famous 7-second passes As he gets in, the lights come down. Carter with a good launch off the line, moves a bit straight, gets the car squared up and flies to possibly an 8.0 pass. Down on the top end, Carter 8.05, 170. Another amazing run, and that's proof why this car was one time a champion.
At Flowmaster, we're serious about exhaust. Combining the latest research and manufacturing techniques and a state-of-the-art dynamometer, Flowmaster means improved combustion, efficiency and power, reduced back pressure, increased fuel economy, and added performance. Today, more racing champions are choosing Flowmaster as their only source for the latest in exhaust technology. Whether you're on the street or at the strip, when you want the very best in bolt-on exhaust performance, there is no substitute. For the winning edge, it's Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company.
That takes us right to the semifinals in world title competition. And no other than Chris Soljak finds the solo pass that may put him in the finals here this afternoon. Well, Soljak, a man who definitely deserves to be where he's at right now, has proven to all the big boys with their toys that you too can build a car in your garage and come out and hammer on some of the big names in Pro Street. Right now, Soljak looking for lane choice in the final round. Will he stay into it? Well, it looks like for the first 1,000 feet he does. Then Soljak opts to backpedal the machine in the All-Pro side and goes 10:47 at 91.89 miles per hour. Believe me, Chevy fans, he'll be raring and roaring in the final round. Speaking of final rounds, who will it be as Mike Moran comes into the water box area? Moran, another man who has been on a mission all weekend here with a brand new 95 Chevrolet Camaro, still looking for the 7-second range. Check out the smoky burnout of Mike Moran. The beautiful 95 Chevrolet Camaro doing the legendary Moran burnout. Now the concentration goes to work, and it could be problems for the cardiac arrest machine. Keith Potter laying under the machine. There's a story in itself. Keith Potter has helped everybody out here this afternoon, from Jerry Civic with a carburetor to the car that's going to the finals, Chris Soljak with a transmission. So Keith Potter has a bit of himself going to the finals here at Gateway. Right now, we're into the semis. Will they get Joe Moore's Chevrolet Nova worked up? Mike Moran right now doesn't even care. He just has to get this 95 Chevrolet Camaro down the track and prepare to battle in the finals. We'll see what happens in a matter of seconds. Well, the guys from Jerry Haas backing Moran up, still working desperately on the alcohol-burning Chevrolet Nova in the back staging area. Joe Moore not moving out of the car. Keith Potter, they've found the problem. The spark plug wires were off. And now Potter reaching underneath and putting the wires on, apparently from my point of view. This will be wild. Will Moran wait, or will he go to the line and take the championship this way? We'll find out. Moran revs the motor. Now they're giving the alcohol to the Chevrolet Nova. Will it fire? The car cranking desperately to get into this round of action. It comes to life, and Joe Moore just goes right to the line with the machine. Moore now with the tire spins him just a bit to dry him off. Check this out. Moran already into the light on the top bulb. Moore rolls right in and right beside him. This will be a wild one. Moran gets in. Moore's in. Lights are down in a side-by-side Chevrolet battle. But look at Mike Moran. This could be the 7-second pass we've waited for. Down on the top end. Moran now goes 802, 173 miles per hour to an 833 of Joe Moore. What an amazing side-by-side Pro Street battle. Well, we'll move right into the semifinals, being round number 2 of Super Street, as Mark Wells out of Louisiana gets ready to bring his lobster tail to the line. Check it out, his Chevrolet Camaro gets ready to take on Rick Lang in a big-bodied 67 Chevelle. 10.5-inch tire nitrous-assisted machines, and it looks like the big-bodied Chevelle of Lang may put the works on the number 1 qualifier. And Mark Wells, not knowing the problems he had down in the pit area with his machine, let's see if he figured him out. Lang and Wells ready to go in a side-by-side Super Street battle here to go to the finals. Who will it be? Chevy Chevelle, Chevy Camaro? Hang on, Super Street fans. The mufflers are roaring and the nitrous is spraying. As we get ready to see who it will be, the lights come down. A green light start, no, a red light start. Hans, Rick, Lang, in the Chevy Chevelle. Mark Wells definitely got the victory when he needed it. Problems with the Camaro and the Pepsi side, but he will go to the final round here this afternoon. Wells goes down in the top end in a 14-second fashion. The All-Pro side of Lang, 10:21, and a red light haunts him at the starting line. Next, coming up, the Nova of Ron Kaiser. He'll get ready to take on the big-bodied Chevelle of Mike Christensen. Well, the hard-twerking Chevy Chevelle of Christensen will be in the tower side. Let's see if he can put the works on that wheelie barred Chevrolet Nova. Christensen does the burnout, gets right into the pre-staging beam. Kaiser follows right behind. Now who will it be? Kaiser rolls in, already staged and ready for battle. The lights come down. Check it out. The Chevy torques up high of Christensen's machine. And he really just puts the works on the Nova of Kaiser. Kaiser just backpedaling the machine. Mikey Christensen goes to the final with a 10:48, 128 miles per hour. 12:89 for Kaiser's Nova. He'll watch the rest of the program from the bleachers this afternoon. We'll be back in just a minute with the final round of eliminations of World Title Pro Street competition here at Gateway International Raceway. It's going to be a former NASA test pilot, Mike Moran, banging heads with Chris Soljak. But first, let's go 2 rounds with some fine sponsors of the GM Nats home video.
NGK's V-Power design spark plugs successfully power engines from street to stock to 5,000 horsepower drag racing engines. Simply put, the V-Power design keeps your spark at the outer edge of the electrode, enhancing ignitability. This combined with the near-solid copper core allows much better heat dissipation, and we all know what too high a temperature can do to an engine. As a matter of fact, more and more of today's car makers are using the V-Power design as original equipment in their cars. NGK's V-Power is committed to helping you reach the finish line faster. To learn more about NGK, please call Michael Schwab at NGK's Midwest office, area code 708-390-8240.
Well, now the finals in Super Street. Mark Wells from Louisiana and Mike Christensen. The St. Louis-based Chevelle, last one to get into the beams. Christensen rolls the big-bodied Chevelle in. Wells waiting there patiently with the nitrous-assisted big block Camaro. The Louisianan ready to go. The lights come down. Check it out, Super Street fans. Look at the torque on a Christensen's machine. Wells trying to hang on down to the 8th mile charge. Letting the nitrous oxide assisted in big block. Wells takes the victory with a 967, 138 mile per hour pass. But due to later confrontation, Wells would be disqualified, Christensen would be the champion, and Wells would show off his fighting ability in the tower here at Gateway.
Okay, we're down here with Chris Soljak out of St. Louis. Chris, first time into world title competition in terms of the final round. You're standing against Mike Moran. You two guys are going to go knock some heads in the quarter mile. Any thoughts?
Trying to get there. Nervous. Yeah. Nervous, big time.
What do you want to thank in terms of who put you here?
Everybody. Jeffers Pro Cars, Jerry Bickle, Rob Wagner. He's really helped me out a lot. Man, a lot of buddies. I can't even really name them all. I'm so nervous right now.
Sure. How's the car been performing for you today?
We're finally getting a handle on it. I mean, that's what we've been trying for the last year. We're finally getting a handle on it.
Some good traction on the line for you?
Yeah, it's been hooking.
Well, we watched you down at the end, and one heck of a pass, and I think you got a little bit more to pull out of this car yet too, right?
We think so.
All right. Go to it. Good luck out there.
Thanks.
VP Race Fuels has been making the best fuels available for motorsports since 1975. Their track record includes fueling the last 20 NHRA Pro Stock World Champions. However, their track record isn't just limited to the drag strip. VP has fueled champions in off-road, offshore, circle track, road race, and airplane racing as well. Total control over their products is just one reason VP has achieved such consistent success. From processing, testing, and storing, VP Race Fuels does it all. Their chemists and engineers have an in-house dyno and several test engines, but don't count on VP staying home. They're out in the field working with racers just like you. VP does this to stay ahead of their competition so you can stay ahead of yours. VP Race Fuels is distributed at many locations across the country. In the Midwest, contact VP Racing Fuels in Terre Haute, Indiana at 812-238-2084. For nitromethane, methanol, leaded, unleaded fuels, and lubricants, nationwide and worldwide, VP Race Fuels, special fuels for champions.
All right, folks, here's the round you've been waiting for. It's time to head downtown as we get ready to lay down the law in the final spectacular run. The confrontation, the battle, the pedal to the metal challenge that has come to be known as the GM Greco Motorsports Nationals. The final round. The last shot will go to Mike Moran in his sharpest steel 95 Camaro, running against the car from another era, Chris Soljak and his loaded for bear 64 Chevy 2 Nova. All right, it's come down to this. 2 competitors, 2 cars, 1 track, and 1 event on the line. Before we bring these 2 cars into the lights, let's check out some of the specs that'll put one of them in the winner's circle today here at Gateway. All right, here we go. It's the final round of eliminations, and we have 2 big dogs, 2 heavy hitters ready to come into the water box. It'll be Mike Moran packing a whopping 615 cubic inch Sonny Leonard motor in his lethal 95 Camaro. Moran is not going to spray this pass, so it'll be all motor. And Chris Soljak matching guns with a 632 inches of Scott Sheffroff engine in his bad-to-the-bone 64 Chevy 2 Nova. Well, now, the one we've been waiting for. Chevy fans are going berserk here at Gateway. The final of world title competition. The burnout's coming out of the box area. Mike Moran in the 95 Chevrolet Camaro. No other than Chris Soljak, the kid who never thought he'd be this far this afternoon. Soljak in the Chevrolet Nova does his burnout and rolls into the hot rubber at the end of the track here. Now watch Keith Potter, definitely on Soljak's team. His transmission in the car. He has been helping this kid out all afternoon. Chris Soljak backs up. Mike Moran backs into the hot rubber he laid down across the starting pad. Well, if you have to pick a driver, knowing both drivers, I'd have to pick Mike Moran for the driving skills here, but anything can happen. Watch as Moran's team gets him into the hot rubber and prepares to battle for the first ever Pro Street victory for this brand new machine. Right here at the Len Greco GM Nationals at Gateway International. This will be a wild one. The fans are on their feet. The crowd is going berserk. Chris Soljak, the little arch, rolls into the beams. Watch ever so gently as Mike Moran doesn't want to mess up on the tree in this run. The final round of Pro Street action. Soljak, Moran now rolling in. The RPM's coming up on Moran's machine. Chris Soljak playing a light game with him, but Moran says the heck with it. He goes fully into the tree. Now he waits for his competitor. It could be an appetizer at this point, a little cocktail Nova. Watch as they roll in. Mike Moran sitting there patiently. Soljak, the last man into the lights, waits, and now the lights come down and Soljak gets a whole shot, but Mike Moran shows the power off in the 95 Chevrolet Camaro. Down to the top end. Look at a 796, 173 mile per hour pass. Moran goes to the finals, goes with victory, goes into the 7s, and Soljak follows behind with an 859 pass. An amazing story here at Gateway International as we crown Mike Moran the champion here this afternoon. Well, Mike Moran in slow motion here shows how he got to the finals. Like we said, cocktail Novas. That's what it's been for Moran in the last 2 rounds. The cardiac arrest weenie. And now Soljak, the next man on the plate, and Moran eats him alive and goes home the champion here at the 95 GM Nats. Another year, another incredible event, as Mike Moran takes home the crown and the check for this edition of the 1995 GM Nationals. Chris Soljak, a rock-steady challenger, put it all on the line, giving Moran the run of his life. But in the end, it was Mike Moran, the winner here at the 1995 GM Nationals. We had the opportunity of talking with a few of the winning competitors in the pits just minutes ago, including Bill Hill, driver of the Team Budweiser Camaro, a car that literally shook the earth here today at Gateway while cleaning up with the points championship for the entire 1995 World Title Series. This car, with the skilled driving talents of Bill Hill, the team efforts of Rich and Harry Matthews, and a monster backing by some of the sponsors we've mentioned here today, including the King of Beers, Budweiser will certainly be a considerable force to deal with in the 96 racing season. We caught up with Bill Hill as he headed towards the tower to accept his world title trophy.
What better place to get you on this interview, Bill? Did you feel that run?
I didn't think it was that fast, and I got down through there and I hit fourth gear and going down through there, and I shook the tires in second and third, and I thought, well, it's not that quick, so I'll just drive it a little deeper before I lift. I lifted it and shot the chutes out before the finish line, and I thought that was going to scrub enough mile per hour in ET, but that threw us out of the race for today. But we won the championship, and that's what we were after.
Everybody dropped their jaw out there, no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah, the fans went crazy.
Where are you going with this car next, real quick?
We're probably going to be in the sixes at 200 mile an hour, and we just want to tell Budweiser thanks a whole lot and all of our sponsors.
Okay, we're down here with Mike Moran, winner of the GM Nationals. Mike, 796. Incredible run.
Yeah, if you would have told me how to run that fast before I got here, I wouldn't have believed it. It's the first time the car's been out. It's a debut. I would have been happy with 850, and it just kept impressing me every pass. As soon as we got the shocks worked out and got down the track, we realized the real potential of it.
You told me it felt maybe just like a typical run down the track, maybe at an 8 or something?
Yeah, it actually felt slower than what it ran. I just was so shocked when I seen the time slip. I realized that all this hard work has paid off.
And you still have yet to spray this motor.
Yeah, and we still have yet to turn the timing up. We're just running a low tune-up on the motor right now just so we can get it down the track, and now that we've done that, we can turn it up.
What's the program for Memphis? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing, a little more power and a lot less weight.
Anybody you want to thank for your getting you here?
Oh, yeah, my partner, Jack Pemberton. I wish he could be here. He got injured this weekend on a drum of fuel, and we really miss him being here. And I want to thank Jerry Haas and Sonny Leonard and all my sponsors, Flowmaster, NOS. I may not have their nitrous on there, but I got their throttle bodies. And I want to thank Weldon and all my sponsors that have helped me out.
Mike, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Mike Moran, winner of the 1995 GM Nationals. Okay, we're down here with Len Greco, the gentleman who puts on the GM Nationals down here. Len, making a presentation to the team Budweiser.
I'm very happy to present this trophy to some guys who really, really deserve it, the Team Budweiser. Camaro, we got Bill Hill, the driver. Bill, introduce the other people here for me, please.
Sure, I'll be glad to. We have Josh Hill, my son, which I'm really proud of. He's been a big help to us this year. This is Josh right here on my left. We have Don Eidinger next to him, and then we have Harry M. Automotive, Harry Matthews. He's the guy that puts the horsepower out there. And then behind him, we have Bob Matthews. That's his son. And we have Trish Matthews here in the middle, in the back, and that's Richie's wife. And Richie here is here on the end. He's the crew chief. We'd like to thank Budweiser and all of our sponsors for getting us there. I mean, without them people, we just couldn't do it. There's no way. And Glassroot and Crest Industries and everybody else. We absolutely appreciate it.
And certainly a team effort from the pit crew and everybody supporting it.
The guys this year, we worked really, really hard. We had a lot of trouble at the beginning of the year. We were having a lot of valve train problems. We worked with Crane Industries and Wolverine Cams, and they helped us out, and we put it all together, and finally the thing came around for us, and that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what makes it all work.
Well, I guess Team Bud's talking about, or Budweiser's talking about putting a space shuttle together, and you guys are the first choice.
We already made it fly once this year. I don't know if we want to make it fly anymore, but we're going to go as fast as we can next year. We're hoping to do over 200 mile an hour next year.
Congratulations to Team Budweiser.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that about wraps it up here from Gateway International Raceway. I'm Al Tucci, and I hope to see you again next year as we bring you more explosive, full-tilt, full-throttle Pro Street action from the GM Greco Motorsports Nationals. Remember, folks, you don't have to drive fast to enjoy fast driving. Later.